See this hotel? It looks like paradise. Gold ceilings, Italian marble, a pool lined with mother of pearl. But it's a lie. Every inch of this luxury was paid for by stealing the life savings of 23,000 grandmothers. The man who built it, he didn't just rob a bank, he bought 5 U.S. senators to help him do it. This isn't just a story about money. It's about the man who broke the American dream and sent you the bill. Watch closely.
They say you can't buy class. But in 1985, Charles Keating proved that with enough stolen money, you can buy anything. He built a monstrosity in the middle of the Sonoran Desert. He called it the Phoenician. He wanted it to be the 8th wonder of the world. White marble from Italy, ceilings etched in solid gold, 11 rare Steinway pianos just for the hallways, and the pool, $1 million. Mother-of-pearl tiles, imported, hand-laid, designed to make you feel like you were swimming inside a jewel. It was beautiful, it was magnificent, and every single inch of it was a crime scene. Because Charles Keating didn't pay for that pool, you did. Welcome to the savings and loan crisis. The story of how a group of swimmers, playboys, and politicians stole the American dream, painted it gold, and sent you the bill. Welcome to the Gilded Rot.
To understand the theft, you have to understand the discipline. Charles Keating wasn't a chaotic man. He was a champion swimmer at the University of Cincinnati. Swimming is a sport for the obsessed. It's sensory deprivation, just you and the water. Keating learned early, if you want to win, you have to suffer. You have to hold your breath longer than the other guy. But before he was a banker, Charles Keating was a crusader. Rome didn't fall because of the strength of the aggressor. Rome fell because of moral decay from within. His enemy wasn't inflation, it wasn't interest rates, it was pornography. He testified before Congress. He produced films claiming that smut was a communist plot to destroy Western civilization. He believed that if you let people indulge their basest desires, the pillars of society would crumble. But while Keating was preaching about moral decay, another man was practicing it. Meet Don Dixon, the owner of Vernon's Savings and Loan. Dixon didn't care about saving souls, he cared about feeding his face. In October 1983, he took his wife on a little trip to Europe. They called it gastronomique fantastique. They hit the best restaurants in France. They flew a fleet of private jets across the continent. The cost? Astronomical. Who paid for it? The bank paid, which means the depositors paid, which means you paid. Dixon had a motto: the best way to rob a bank is to own one. He bought the sister ship to the presidential yacht. He parked it in the Potomac, and he invited the politicians on board. 2 different men, the monk and the playboy, but they shared one goal: to take the American banking system and turn it into their personal ATM. And the government? They didn't just watch. They handed them the ammo. For 50 years, banking was stupid. It was designed to be stupid. It ran on a simple formula called 3-6-3. Pay the depositor 3%, charge the homeowner 6%, be on the golf course by 3 p.m. Bankers weren't wolves, they were utility workers. They kept the lights on. They kept the American dream affordable until the world broke. The late 70s, inflation is eating the dollar alive. Enter Paul Volcker, the chairman of the Fed. He didn't care about your feelings, he cared about the currency. To kill inflation, he had to strangle the economy. He jacked interest rates to 20%. It worked. Inflation died, but so did the savings and loans. The banks were locked into 30-year mortgages, earning only 6%. But to keep depositors, they now had to pay 15%. They were bleeding to death every single day. They were zombies, dead banks walking. The government had a choice: bail them out, that costs billions, or change the rules. They chose option B. They deregulated. They told the zombies, go ahead, gamble, grow your way out of debt. They took the handcuffs off the insane, and Charles Keating was ready to run. This was the weapon. Keating owned Lincoln Savings, but he wasn't selling savings accounts. He was selling junk. Imagine a sweet old woman walking into the bank. She holds a check. It represents her life savings. She approaches a teller. The teller smiles, a predatory, corporate smile. Why settle for a CD? We have something better. He took federally insured deposits and swapped them for uninsured corporate bonds. He used the bank's reputation to sell his own debt. 17,000 elderly people walked in to save their money. They walked out holding a grenade. While Keating was selling junk bonds, Don Dixon was playing pass the trash. It's called a land flip. Buy dirt for $1 million, sell it to a friend for $2 million. The friend sells it to another friend for $4 million. The bank lends the money for every sale. On paper, the bank is making a fortune. In reality, it's just dirt. By 1986, they looked like geniuses. Keating was the king of Arizona. Dixon was the prince of Texas. They were winning. But there was one problem with a Ponzi scheme built on sand. Eventually, the music stops, and the regulators were starting to ask questions. Keating picked up the phone. Get me 5 senators, now. Charles Keating didn't just buy pianos. He bought protection. April 9th, 1987. 5 United States senators summoned the top bank regulator to a private meeting. Their message was simple. Ed, why are you pushing my friend Charlie so hard? They didn't ask about the fraud. They didn't ask about the junk bonds. They asked why the police were bothering the thief. Why? Because Keating had given them $1.3 million in campaign contributions. They bought Keating time. 2 years. In those 2 years, the black hole at Lincoln Savings grew by another $1 billion.
Democracy was for sale, and it was cheap.
April 14th, 1989. The day the music died. The feds stormed Lincoln Savings. They stormed Vernon Savings in Texas. What they found inside wasn't a bank. It was a carcass. The vaults were empty. The assets were worthless dirt in the desert. The money was gone. Burnt on jets, burnt on yachts, burnt on gold ceilings. When the house of cards finally collapsed, the bailout of Keating's empire alone cost the American taxpayer $3 billion. But the marble floors were still shiny, the pianos were still tuned, only the people were broken. 23,000 investors lost their life savings. Many were over 60. They lost their homes. They lost their dignity. Some lost the will to live. They were sold high-risk junk bonds as safe, federally insured investments. They were lied to. And Charles Keating? When asked if he had any money left, he didn't apologize. He screamed, "I'm broke. I'm a pauper." He played the victim until the very end. But there was one man who couldn't escape the shame. Future presidential nominee John McCain, one of the 5 senators who protected him. McCain would later look back on his defense of Keating with haunting clarity, calling it simply the worst mistake of my life. The gold was real, but the rot went all the way to Washington. Charles Keating went to prison. Don Dixon went to prison. The architects of the collapse were finally held accountable. Keating was convicted on 73 counts of fraud. The man who built an American Versailles ended up in a concrete cell. But the story doesn't end with justice. It ends with a bill. When the dust settled, the savings and loan crisis cost the American taxpayer $160 billion. We paid for the pool. We paid for the yachts. We paid for the silence. It was, at the time, the largest financial theft in the history of the world. And we thought, never again. But here is the darkest truth. We didn't learn. The savings and loan crisis wasn't an accident. It was a practice run. It was a dress rehearsal for 2008. The men who watched this happen went on to build the housing bubble. They took the same junk bonds, gave them a new name, and sold them to the world. But there was one crucial difference. Charles Keating went to jail. The bankers of 2008, they got bonuses. Greed isn't a bug in the system. It is the feature. Keating and Dixon were monsters, yes, but they were our monsters, born from our desire for easy money, fed by our politicians, and buried by our taxes. Today, tourists still swim in the Phoenician pool. They float over the mother-of-pearl tiles, oblivious to the history beneath them. It looks perfect. It looks solid. But if you scratch the surface, the truth is still there. The gold always peels off, but the rot remains. This has been the Gilded Rot.